What if, miles beneath the rolling swells, where sunlight never reaches and pressure crushes steel like paper, a distant whisper drifts through the water, something alive with intention, something that seems eerily, impossibly like a voice calling out from the dark. In this video, we descend into the world's most haunted ocean depths, tracing the spine-chilling recordings from submarines, deep-sea vessels, and shipwreck explorations, where creaks, moans, and phantom signals blur the line between mechanical groans and something far more unsettling. You will hear tales of ghostly whistles from a doomed liner, inexplicable tapping on a submarine's hull, unexplained low-frequency booms echoing across the Pacific, and whispered voices captured in the abyss. Each story a fragment of an oceanic mystery that refuses the logic of man or machine. Prepare yourself for a journey into the hushed corridors of steel and water, where every sound becomes a question, and every silence a promise of something watching just beyond the sonar's glow. In April 1912, as the RMS Carpathia steamed toward the North Atlantic ice fields to rescue Titanic survivors, her radio operator tuned the transceiver to search for any remaining distress signals. The crackling static brought only the faintest echoes of the Morse code SOS that had saved so many lives. But as night fell, the operator reported something else entirely. Through the roar of the engine and the hiss of breakers, a mournful whistle threaded its way across the static, bending and warping with the currents of air and wire. It did not match the rhythmic blast of the ship's whistles, or the sharp staccato of the steam sirens. Instead, it rose and fell in a melody that felt almost human, a lament drifting as if carried by a ghost ship through the wires. Officers on the bridge paused in their duties to listen, but when they flashed lights into the fog, no vessel answered. When Carpathia's engines slowed, the whistle ceased, leaving only the hiss of wind and the plaintive crackle of the Atlantic night. Some sailors swore it was a final breath of the Titanic's steam call, echoing across miles of ocean and scattering in the currents. Others whispered that it was something older, a sea phantom drawn to tragedy, singing its requiem through the cables that tethered dead man's home to living steel. Decades later, beneath the emerald waters of the Caribbean, a nuclear submarine on clandestine patrol recorded something even more disquieting. During a routine sonar sweep, the crew of the USS Parche detected a series of rhythmic taps against the hull. Soft at first, as if a geologist's pick probed sediment, then growing louder, more insistent, as though someone walked the outside of the pressure hull in heavy boots. The commanding officer ordered a halt. Through the portholes, nothing stirred but the darkness, an ink-black world where the submarine's lights glittered feebly. But in the sonar shack, the taps persisted. Talk, talk, pause, talk, spacing that no known marine creature, no underwater current could produce. Investigators at the Naval Undersea Warfare Center later replayed the tape in sound chambers, isolating the frequencies. They concluded the sounds were too regular, too loud, to be biological. They must have been metallic in origin. Yet the submarine's outer hull had no barnacles, no loose plates, no sonars or equipment on the exterior. Maintenance logs showed no anomalies. Saltwater tests revealed no breaches. Even more disturbing was the silence that followed. When the sub resumed course, the taps fell abruptly silent, as though the unseen visitor vanished at the moment the engineers closed the valves on all external instruments. Submariners have long told stories of phantom knocks echoing in the hull, blurs of shadow that graze the outer lights. But the Parche recordings stand alone in their clarity, a testament to something at once mechanical and alive, haunting the very steel that sequesters us from the deep. But the ocean depths are not only home to steel monsters, they also harbor secrets recorded by scientific vessels mapping the seafloor. In June 1997, NOAA's research ship, Yukon, trailed an array of hydrophones across the South Pacific, listening for undersea earthquakes. Instead, they stumbled upon a sound so immense it shattered every precedent. A slow, ascending roar that peaked at 52 degrees on the decibel scale, far louder than a volcanic quake and spanning a frequency range too broad to match any known geophysical event. Dubbed the Bloop, this sound emanated from a remote patch of water off the coast of Antarctica. Scientists pored over ship logs and seismic data for months, but found no record of a quake, no eruption of underwater lava fields, no calving of icebergs large enough to displace that volume of water. Marine biologists noted that the bloop's frequency pattern vaguely resembled that of living creatures, giant squid perhaps, or an unknown leviathan of the deep, but no known animal could produce a roar of such magnitude without blowing the guts of its own organs. Subsequent listening arrays picked up echoes, fainter, more distant, yet no clear repetition. The bloop remains a singular spike in oceanic acoustics, a booming crescendo that fades into the hush of abyssal plains and leaves only the question, what could roar so loudly in the world's most secret realm, if not something older and stranger than humanity dares to imagine? On a different expedition, at the edge of the Challenger Deep, in the Mariana Trench, a team of oceanographers aboard the deep-sea cruiser Alucia captured another haunting audio fragment, this time not a roar, but a whisper. As the Geo Bond submersible descended beneath 6 miles of water, its external mics recorded faint, modulated voices drifting past the research ship's hydrophones. Engineers initially assumed radio interference or a contamination of the audio channels, but when filters removed all known sources, ship engines, sonar pings, communication chatter, the voices remained. Low, resonant murmurs, almost conversational in tone, fluttering through the water column like displaced echoes of a departed crew. Upon surfacing, the team searched for any plausibility of crosstalk from the support vessel. Transmitters, broken cabling, stray ambient noise. But every possibility was ruled out. Transcripts of the waveforms revealed phoneme-like patterns, syllable-length pauses, and even intonations reminiscent of spoken language, though no recognizable words emerged. Oceanographers proposed that the trench itself might amplify internal resonances, rock fractures, subduction zone tremors, into speech-like modulations. Yet no recorded geological event corresponded to the timing. Critics have labeled the phenomenon the Mariana Whispers, and some have speculated it is the creaking and groaning of the Earth's crust under extreme pressure, so slow and deep that our ears, unequipped for such frequencies, perceive them as voices from below. Others whisper of an intelligence that dwells in the dark, using the medium of water to murmur across impossibly vast distances. As the final descent, consider the account from a diving team exploring the wreck of the USS Johnston, a World War II destroyer sunk in 1944 off Samar Island. In the pitch-black water, the submersible's lights revealed the corroded hull and twisted metal. But when the pilot maneuvered close, his comms unit emitted a sudden burst of static, and then, clear as day, a faint naval command. "Secure fire hose, starboard side." Startled, the crew replayed the recording. The voice was unmistakably military, clipped, urgent. Yet the Johnston lay rotting since the battle off Samar, its crew lost to history. No tape, no log, no device could account for the replay. Hull sensors and internal wiring were new, installed decades after she sank. Sonar and magnetic anomaly detectors showed no living presence, no school of fish or passing submersible. Yet in that moment, the Johnston seemed to come alive, rehearsing a command drilled into her steel ribs. Submersible pilots spoke afterwards of feeling watched in the narrow passageways, of footsteps echoing on metal decks that hadn't known a human foot in half a century. Across these voyages, we find a tapestry of sound that defies simple explanation. Each recording, etched into magnetic tape or digital file, stands as a testament to the ocean's ability to confront us with the unknown. In the hushed solitude of the deep, where hydrophones become our ears and steel tubes our eyes, we discover that the sea is not silent. It creaks and moans, it whistles and whispers, it roars and recites. And in these sounds, we glimpse the possibility that intelligence lurks beyond our surface, listening and perhaps communicating back. So the next time you gaze out at the sea, remember that beneath the waves, the familiar world dissolves into something vast and ancient, where even a single sound can become a question that echoes into the abyss, and where the whispers from below may never stop calling.